Hello everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining. This is Karthik from iTeLearn as part of Workasa Inc. And I'm here right now to start a very critical and important session that is part of the Workasa Vision 2020 to become a top software test automation organization. So to be able to do that, AnyAUT is a great application and a tool that will help us get good into the market. Now, this training is specifically about how to become an AnyAUT certified tester, and I have put a few points as to what it's going to include, and I'll also talk about ASCT training as to what we will do. We will also do the AnyAUT Orange demo. It's not going to be easy for us to finish everything in one session, but I'll try and keep it within 3 sessions so that within this 4 to 5 hours, we know everything about what AnyAUT is and what you're going to do as part of it. I will, of course, pause in a between to try and collect some poll questions and get your feedback as well on some of the important topics, so you can help me through it. So what is the training content, team? That's the first thing that we need to look at. We're talking about a free training. What will be included in this training that we're going to really focus and start to work with? So anyone has a clue? Can you all interact with me back and mention as to what you think will be included in this training, please? What do you think, team? Will you be part of this training? The reason I'm asking these questions is I want to know the audience as to what they already believe that it's going to have. Put your answers in the chat for me, please. Basics of manual testing, absolutely yes. Thank you so much, Maria. What else? How the AnyAUT application works as an automation tool. AnyAUT to do automation testing. Yes. I would rather say functional automation testing. AnyAUT desktop app, correct? Test case design, yes. So I'm taking whatever I'm getting from the audience and putting it here. How to write test cases, correct? And it's okay if you are unable to answer any of these questions, team, because for some of you, AnyAUT has been an application that you worked with or kind of been exposed to earlier. Test reporting, yes. Test execution and reporting. AnyAUT as a test management, correct? How do we do overall test management? Yes, we'll also cover importance of the test management tool and what it will do to your career. Defect management, yes, but then I will be very honest and open and tell you that we don't have a defect management functionality yet. Defect management, defect handling is different, management becomes differently. The word management is not a small word, it's not a small term, but great point. Thank you, Jairam. My screen is covered with black box. What happens is I have the chat box where I see all the chat messages coming. Maybe that's covering. Now it should be okay. At least most of the screen is there. hands-on experience on AnyAUT. Hands-on, perfect, thank you. See, I don't even need to write it myself. The team is telling me as to what it is. As to what is it that we're going to do and experience in this training. All right. I will also mention the fact that it's about a 5 hours program overall. 5 hours training program. All right. Uh, does this training include Selenium, WebDriver, Java, JUnit, TestNG, Maven, Jenkins, and all that team? Does that ACT training include that? Yes or no, please, everyone? Okay, so no, it does not. At least most of you are saying no to it. A few of you are saying yes. Overview, okay, overview I think is a valid point. Overview of, sorry, bad keyboard team, of AnyAUT.com/orange as a Selenium engine, what it does. I think we should cover a little bit about that, and then we'll get into more technical depth through ACD training. And ACD is what team? AnyAUT certified. What's D for? Awesome. Developer. All of you are correct. And that's a very technical training we'll get into for sure. And then we're going to continue with AnyAUT Peach version. That's what we're going to be doing. All right. So let's get going with some of these concepts as to what we are trying to do with basics of manual testing and so on. I'm going to close the chat box right now so that there's no disturbance on the screen for us. So what is manual testing? Very briefly, let's touch upon it. I'll not go extremely deep into it because it'll be a long session if we try and do that. We cannot complete everything in this 5 hours that we've planned. But what we're trying to say as part of manual testing is how do we ensure that web apps slash web slash mobile apps, I don't think it should be different. They're all part of the ecosystem of how we work. Web slash mobile apps are performing as per user needs slash requirements, because end of the day it's all about developing products and ensuring, again, see, ensure is a keyword that I keep using, in ensuring that they are working as expected. That's what primarily what we try and do. Now when I talk about products, can you give me some examples of products that are web and mobile app related? Any product, please? Suggestions, anyone? Amazon, yeah. Facebook, perfect. What else? What are the different products team? Twitter, eBay, Twitter, Flipkart. I'm just trying to pick your mind out here because this is going to be very interesting team. Google, Gmail, totally yes. YouTube, WhatsApp, yeah. Yahoo, Netflix, clock, calculator, Pinterest. You know what? For this session, I'm gonna make attendees can ask questions. How can other attendees see what is being asked? I'm trying to see that. No, there's no option here because it's a webinar. AnyAUT, yes. CNN, Gmail, Netflix, clock, calculator, Pinterest, absolutely yes. So all these are different applications, team. They perform a specific requirement or a need, and they will have to be tested and ensured that they work correctly. How do we make sure? How do we ensure this? How can we execute them? That's the next question. Whether app, yeah, there's so many apps, right? Norton, yeah, there's so many apps. There's no question about it. We need to try and act like the end user. That's the primary thing, team. That is the most important aspect. How do we try and act like an end user? How does the end user work, and how is it that they use the application? How does an end user use the application? And that means there's a user story. And this, all these terms that I'm saying, team, I'm trying to fit it into what are the trending terms in the software testing industry in today's world. And that basically talks about simple things which was there for a long time called user acceptance testing, behavior driven development. What was that? I forgot the other one. Test driven development. No, not beta testing. Not, it's acceptance test driven development. Tools like Cucumber, tools like robot framework, and so on. What they primarily try and accomplish is how to write a user story that we can translate into software testing. And this is the most important aspect, team. It's the absolutely most important aspect. So what we do is we start with writing about modules. What are modules, team? We break down the entire functionality into manageable pieces. I think hopefully the word is correct. Manageable. Did I misspell it? No, it's not. Putting a translate is incorrect. That will correct. Okay. Oh no, manageable also is incorrect. See. First session I'll go very easy, team. I want to make it extremely user friendly for all of you to make it very reasonable in terms of how and what we're trying to do and so on. All right. So what are modules, team? Let's take an application. I want to use an application that I've not used before. Something that we have never done at iTeLearn and Verkasa. What can that application be? I know we have not done for CNN. I know we have not done for Amazon. I believe we did something. Any application that you recommend that we, I think we also did for Twitter. WhatsApp, more of a mobile app than a web app. So that I will kind of try and avoid for now. Anything that we can use? Spectrum. That's interesting word, Ragi. What is spectrum? You're talking about the spectrum as a the internet provider? I don't know, because we need to start writing some certain things in there. LinkedIn, I think I did earlier, but I think I can do LinkedIn again. Actually, it does not matter because we're not going deep into the functional aspects of an application. Um, Let me check my folder once. There are a few good test case scenarios and so on that I can add. AnyAUT emergency release. No. One second, T. Recording. I was actually searching for where was the recent session that I was doing, where I worked hard to create. So can someone help me, team, find that test documentation that we did for one of the applications? I could copy and change it. Not this. I don't know if it's speech. No, I think maybe it's a different folder altogether. Selenium Live project. No. UFT training. I think that's where I was creating. Sorry, team. I'm taking time to find that. Because honestly, I have so much clarity and confidence in what I keep doing that I don't really focus too much on if I can find it and so on. HPUFT, where is it? Oh, no. Thank you. Search on your drive. HPUFT project 1 test cases. Okay. Thank you. I want to credit the gentleman or the lady who helped me. Anas Shah, thank you so much. Research, so I found it. All right, team. So this will primarily give us some kind of an experience on as to how a test case writing is created. I know it's on a different application, but the concept is going to be the same. And the reason I emphasize on this specific aspect of test case writing is because it will help us to build something that makes this process much easier. That's the reason I always start with this. So instead of rewriting everything, I'm going to talk about this. Also, let me talk about the application that we built on. Maybe as we go tomorrow into the training, we'll build something else for a different application that we're using for some of our customers, and we'll build on it. So QA on Air is one of the platforms that we are working on and we've kind of put together. It's primarily a marketplace where projects are require software test engineers and they need someone to be recruited immediately as freelancers and so on. And there are QA engineers who are willing to spend a few hours a day or a week to participate in them, and we try and connect them together. That's as simple as I can mention it. So you can always sign up as either a freelancer or you can sign up as a client who's requiring a freelance, an employer. So in these, what we said is there's a user story here. If a user comes to such an application, what do? They basically have to uh, go through the whole process and ensure that it is flowing the right direction. And when we say right direction, what I typically intend or mean to say is they are able to go through the navigation cleanly. There is the functionality flow, and then there's an user experience. Both of these are very critical, team. The user experience, which is also called as UX as a short form, and functional flow. Why is this important, team, in today's world? Can someone tell me why is this the most critical aspect? And there's one thing that I will recommend, or say that you should always, or rather request you to believe in a question that I ask, because it's got a deeper meaning always. It's not a simple thing. Why is a user experience and functional flow very critical for any application in today's world? Why? Why is it the top thing? I'm going to give 20 seconds, team, and I want to ensure that you all can answer it. Okay, I'll read what I am seeing right now, so far at least. If the user can't use it easily, then no one will use it. Okay, great point. There's ease. Then end user satisfaction. There is satisfaction. The reason I'm emphasizing this, team, it will make us, realizing what these points are. Each and everything that we're writing here today will become very important. Can you clarify what does a user story mean? Okay, sure, Lavanya, I'll do that so that everyone also gets to be on the same page with it. What is a user story? Let's leave software applications. Let us leave that alone. Let us say I walk into a 7-Eleven. I'm not sure how many of you are from US, but it's a kind of a Q Mart, D Mart, or a very quick shopping center, highly accessible. And then from the time you open the door to the time you walk out of the door, in fact, even the parking, from the time you enter that arena of parking, park your car, get out, lock it, hopefully everything is good enough there. It's like a convenience store, so you open the door, you get in, you want to buy some sodas, soft drinks, or maybe donut, or you want to buy a lottery ticket or something, and then complete the billing and walk out. That's a user story. Now, how good is the story is important. Is that story good enough is the most important thing. So what makes a user experience? Use friendliness. What is friendliness mean? User friendly, customer satisfaction. I'm just trying to directly impact the customer base. There are the final product evaluators revenues from them. Wow, thank you so much for being interactive. But I want to make sure that I don't miss anything out here. There are a few great suggestions that I got. Final product evaluators. Amazing word. I think this will stand out to be, even I didn't think, some of these things, even I didn't realize. There was, and user is king. Oops. So, team, is a user a customer? Accessible, another word. I think we're building everything that we need. Reputation of the company. I would say this is like the end outcome. Sorry, one thing. Okay, I'm just reading team. It's so I don't know if I'm training you guys or you're training me, because I am seeing such amazing sentences that is really making me happy. I'm really happy that the audience is able to understand what we're trying to do. And we're just talking about an experience. Even let's say I walk into a Bank of America, and how everything happens for me till I walk out. Uh, that's the most important thing. So uh, one question, team: is user different from a customer? Are they both the same or are they different? Yes, that they're different. No, they're the same. So user or customer is the same. What is the difference, team, then? Customer pays, user not necessarily pays. But then somewhere we'll get money down the line. Why do you think WhatsApp? Do you guys know how much so who owns WhatsApp? Which company does that? Own WhatsApp? Google, is it? Microsoft? All right. It is Facebook. Yes, Facebook did buy WhatsApp. They acquired the company. It's not Google or Microsoft. The reason I said Google or Facebook is because I got a couple of messages on that. And that's fine. It's not about trying to test our knowledge. It's just the sense of the intensity of users. Now, WhatsApp, how much did it get sold for? FB bought WhatsApp for how much? Do you guys know? Few billion, 4 billion, I guess, 20 billion. As I remember, it was 19 billion overall, and it was about 17 or 18 billion in cash. Why that craziness, team? Why? And I'm very trying to arrive at a very valid point as to why we talking about all this right now. Why, team? Users love the app because of the users, number of users. There are only two things, team: users plus usage, how much they're using. Now, AnyAUT is an app. If we don't have users and people, the users using it, how many apps are there in our cell phones even now that we don't use? We never used. We never even cared that, oh, there was an app like this. Correct? So there's no usage. There are users. I mean, and that's what I believe. There have to be users and usage. And WhatsApp had about, I believe at that time, 800 million. Were they paid users, team? Did they all pay for WhatsApp? How much does WhatsApp cost? $1 per year, something like that. But then they said, you know what? We'll get it free. We'll keep it free. And then I was one of the few users who paid WhatsApp $1 at a time. Not $1. I don't know if it's $10 or $1. I don't remember. Very minimal fee. Were they making money there? Do you think that they were making money? If 800 million people paid, of course, it's a huge money. Then why are they creating this free thing? They're capturing the audience. And I think WhatsApp becomes a very key thing in terms of learning about user experience and user stories. This is very critical, team. Get as many people as you can, because someday we'll start doing, advertisements and promotional things. That is where the business is for them. But nothing will go without user experience and user. What was US that I wrote? I said and I forgot. User story, I can guess, right? Yeah, user story. See, these are keywords. This audience, user experience, and user stories is the most critical team. So, in today's world, for any application to be successful, it needs to have a great story. It needs really to relate with how a user wants it. So, what we need today, for example, a few months or maybe a year back, WhatsApp was totally different from what it is today. We have the blue ticks, we have the images sharing, we have the phone calls, we have the video calls, and there's so much that they're providing just for users. It's all user driven, team, always. What is it that the users are saying? And of course, they started just with texting, free texting, because we have mobile internet. So let's start with that. And then they kept on adding to things. So now it becomes extremely critical to test user experience. How do we test it, team? As a end user. How a end user does it. So is end user gonna use an application? Will every user use an application the same way, team? Users typically use them same, but certain things are different. They will explore, and most of the things are accidental. How many of us, let's say, when iPhone launched in 2007, 2008, 2007, I believe, the first version, did anyone go and use a user manual to learn about an iPhone and then said that, hey, you know what? I saw the documentation, I purchased the device, now I'm reading the user manual instructions and then doing it. They never did that. Why? Because it was user friendly. That is the other one. 1 second, team. Sorry, team, I'm back. Okay. So there is this always that gap that we need to ensure we fill. There is one way the developer creates. How many ways will a user use it? Multiple ways the user uses the product. Let's say product, not just technology and app. Right, everyone? Hence, testing is key to ensure that the product is applicable for all. Sorry. So with these kind of things that we have, it becomes extremely important. So now let's get back to the application that I was talking about. To give you an overview, it doesn't matter what application team. Let us say you're a QA engineer. Let's assume for a minute that you're already in the QA field, you have a full-time job, and you want to look at an opportunity where you work as a freelance engineer, where you can do a second job. Maybe it's 2 hours a day, maybe 10, 15 hours a week, that you can work directly with a customer, use your skill expertise, and make some extra income. And honestly, team, that's something that I promote. And because that's how I became successful. I had a 9 to 5 job, but what I did from the 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. really made me where I am today, and I'll continue to do that. I'll do both the jobs. Currently, luckily, both the jobs are for my company, and hopefully, things will work good for me there. The most important aspect is everyone is a different user. Each of you are in different country, different timings, different aspects, and so on. And you all can still deliver things. How do we connect? It's a business need. That's where there's a pain, and that's where people in business and industries look at a solution that may serve the pain, just like WhatsApp. It did. It's not that WhatsApp was the first application that came out to do internet texting, and so was iPod. iPod was not the first MP3 player. I had a creative. I was in Netherlands for about 3 months in 2001, around the time when 9/11 happened in US, the episode with World Trade Centers. I was there at that time in Europe for about 3 months, and during that time, I bought an MP3 player, and it was about 18,000 Indian rupees for me. It looked like a CD player, but it was an MP3 player, and it did amazing thing. It was from a company called Creative, and that was amazing for me. But then iPod came and transformed everything. They said, you know what, let's do it a little different way. What did iPod do totally different that it killed the market? It was all user experience team. It is all what we're writing here. And I'm glad that we all know exactly what it is. We all are aware. So we are the final stepping stone to ensure that a product is functioning. And the only way to do is called PNC. Can someone tell me what may be this PNC team? PNC of test case writing. I don't think anyone will have an answer because it's a very specific question, but try it. What could PNC be? Product certification, no. Perfect, perfect test cases, no. Performance and capacity planning, pros and cons, no. Something to do with mathematics team. There you go. Now it's coming up. Oh yes. Permutations and combinations. What does that mean? Okay, absolutely yes. Thank you so much. It's all about permutations and combinations. Now, for a user to go, and let's say you're a QA engineer, you want to go here and say, I want to sign up. And then you click on employer accidentally and you start filling in. and then you realize, oops, why am I unable to put my profile? Why is it asking me to put a requirement of what is there? Wrong user story. But it's still a user story. A user may still do it, though they see. And one of the top things, team, that you missed out as to what was it? Yeah, user experience and functional flow. Why is it important? Accessible reputation of the company and outcome. I'll write here one thing. Time thing. In today's generation, time is the only most critical important factor. Users do not have so much time to spend and to explore and say and so on that. So what does that mean? The application should tell us back that, hey, you know what, you're trying to be an employee and you're signing up as an employer. You're trying to be a freelancer, but you're trying to sign up as a client. That's incorrect. Someone should say it, because all they'll do, okay, first name, last name, let's go fill in, sign up. Even to fill up, how many fields are there? 6 fields. There's so many users who list it. They just want 2 fields. What's my first name? Email? Done. That's all they want to do. And they'll never go back to the email to re-verify and so on. Too many dropouts happen, team, in today's internet world. So now, how do we write test cases? So for example, in this sheet, I wrote about what is a test case, team. Let's go. What is a test case? How do you define a test case? Can someone help me answer that? I'll read whatever I'll see. Step-by-step process how to test the application. But then that's the entire book, correct? The total user manual. Description of single unit to be tested. Okay. Steps written to test a flow. Set of test data. User story. I think it's just a user experience. Actually, user experience / story, team. Someone comes to the bank, they have good experience, some have bad experience, they walk out. But did we capture that information? Did we understand what happened? And that is where these permutations and combinations become very critical, team. Because we need to think that there will be someone who will come and try and play around with this application to break it. Always. We need to truly act as destroyers in the right sense. Why? Because what we're trying to do at the end of the day is to make sure that someone else who comes accidentally to destroy it won't do it. So a test case becomes a user experience story. What does it do? It points to a specific area of where the app is flawed, where there's a defect, where there's an error, there's a flaw there, and we need to address that. And if you look at the intensity, team, right now of this entire conversation, we have not even got into software or anything. We're just talking very much in general, and this is extremely critical. But when we get to test cases, writing and all that, we will do a little fast forward. Hence, P and C, permutations and combinations, becomes critical. Can I ask one question to the audience? How many of you were comfortable to understand what was permutations and combinations? Can you answer yes or no for me, please? Yes, I know. No, I don't know. and it's one-on-one. So you don't have to worry in an online webinar because I'm not taking your name. Yes, I know. No, I don't. Okay. So I've got about at least 30% of you who are saying, no, I don't. What am I trying to do? Fresh paint. Let me explain to you very clearly, team. And this is all related with software testing. So don't think that I'm deviating from what we're trying to achieve. Let's change the color a little bit, maybe. I don't know, this color is more pinkish, but that's fine. Okay. Let's say I live in a place called A and I need to go to a place called B. As simple as that. Let's say I've traveled from India, from Los Angeles to Hyderabad. Do I have only one way team? Or do I have other ways? Or do I have few other options? I know so far there's no flight which can take, which is longest to cover the earth to the furthest place yet. And that's, the one thing that I visualize or visionize to see how I can solve it. Like Elon Musk. Not like him. He's a super god of entrepreneurship and idea generations and how he tries to go about achieving it. But then, it's great inspiration. So if we have different ways, then what is each of that way team? That means that we have one way here, second way here, third way here. So permutations and combinations is all about how many different combinations and different calculations that we can put together to arrive at a destination, at a result, at a solution. If we have to, there's not never always only one solution thing. Very rarely you find that there's only one solution. There are trade-offs. Sometimes we have good solutions, we have bad solutions, we have an easy way, we have the fastest way, and so on. If you go to kayak.com and search, it'll give you so many filters, correct? Say what time you want to start, which is the cheapest one, which is the earliest one that you'll reach, and so on. So it will give you a different combinations. In today's world, we call it as search filters. So what you see in the web world called as search filters are nothing but permutations and combinations. Now, does that make sense, team, to everyone, as to what it is? Anyone still has a question on that, please? It's just like search filters. How we understand what are the different possibilities and ways in which we can arrive at the result or destination that we want to do. Great. So it points to a specific area of where the app is flawed. A user will navigate everywhere. And that is the reason we have to ensure that when we write our test cases, it is not just the positive test cases, which we call in software testing, but also negative test cases. Positive test cases is user is doing as expected, but because of the permutations combinations of what a user can do, they're doing something that is not expected. And hence there's another test case called sign up as a freelancer with an existing username. And if you look at the columns, we have a test case identification to uniquely identify what each test case is. It's like a small user story. User comes in, tries to do certain thing and closes that browser tab or browser itself. They do a certain action. And then there's a description. Execute is basically saying, do we want to execute that test right now or not? And what is the result? Did the user successfully complete the task, or was there a problem or the hitch in while completing the task? So sign up as a freelancer is a test case. Now let's look at test steps. What is test steps, team? The same activities that the user performs in on the app becomes as steps, each individual step. And the user, the way they communicate with the application is using a keyboard and a mouse and looking at the screen. That's how they communicate. So we need to ensure that we duplicate those tasks and we provide that information so we know exactly that user is opening the browser, navigating, clicking, entering all the details, submitting, and so on. This is a valid thing. And the same thing, we're also saying that there's a negative approach to it. The username already exists or the password already exists. Then how should the application react? And that becomes very critical. So these are things that are very important. So for just a sign up, how many test cases do you think a regular sign up form, any application, be it LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, whatever, how many test cases should we write? What do you think, team? How many different permutations and combinations are there where the user does it correctly, where the user does it incorrectly? Positive testing, negative testing. 6. Team, can you all interact back with me, please? I asked a question, just throw a number to me. What do you think? Whatever number comes to your mind, just throw it in the chat for me, please. 100? Wow. Correctly one. That's a great answer, Maria. Honestly, I wish the users were all that. What it's one of the things that I put on AnyAUT website was um, idiot proof on AnyAUT page. Then I said I went to one of these larger organizations in San Francisco, and they said the trendier word is idiot proof. We have it's not say okay. Let's say you give me a new device. I'm an idiot. Karthik is an idiot on that device because I'm not yet sure. I don't think 6, 5, or 100 or 50 is a correct number. More like 10 to 20. More like 15 to 20. And Swapna, yes, you're right. I would say around that. It's a sign up for one freelance account that we're trying to do. But within that, again, did they sign up? Did they put the right number of characters and so on? They all have to be tested. They all have to be documented. Because what happens if someone is signing up with in a way that your database cannot handle? Let's say they have a first name that is 45 characters long. Then what will happen? There is never a perfect number for how many test cases we require to write team. It is all about trying to make sure that the most possible, rather the word is plausible, cases that we can handle. And that is what we put within the system. That is what we ensure. What they didn't enter the first name correctly, what if they didn't enter email in the right format, and so on. Now, for example, in this form, I write something like this. Please enter valid email address. Is this a valid message to come for it? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely yes. Please enter valid email address. There's no at in it. There's no dot in it. There's no email address that does not have an at symbol and a dot symbol. And these are basic one-on-ones. The technology of web applications increased so much that these basic checks happen by default. There's nothing that they need to do about it. Let's say if I enter just K, it's okay. 1, no problem here. I enter 1, 2, 3 here. I enter 2, 3, 4 here. Please enter the same value again. Now, is this correct, team? Is this a defect or a suggestion? Please enter the same value again. Can there be a better one? Maybe please ensure the passwords, both passwords match. Or please enter the same password value again, right? So this is giving some amount of um, guarantee to us that we have to write test cases in a format like an Excel where I can go and see that, hey, you know what, I used this set of test data and then this step failed, and because this step failed here, I also have a test case that I can say this has failed because one of the critical things that have happened. What do I do next with the sheet team? I pass this to the development team and I say, listen, it has failed. This test case has failed. The developer, now let's wear a developer's hat. They'll look at this sheet and they'll say, oh, you know what? Sign up freelancer is failed and even these failed. Let's see, why did this fail? They'll go to the test step sheet. They'll see that, okay, this step failed. What is the error? No error. But then they have the test data. They can go and try and reproduce the error and say if it is valid or not. Did it work the way it's supposed to or not? And once they do that, it is easy for us to kind of make sure that the application will handle things correctly. Now, if I say the error is recommendation, not really an error, that's fine. You're recommending. And you're saying that, what did we have here? Please enter the same value again, right? So, oops. It's not letting me copy this. Hopefully I copied. Oh, yes. Please enter the same password again, I'll say. All right, that's a recommendation. Recommendation is double M, is it, team? I give a lot of emphasis to English and writing, team. Even if I'm wrong, I'll be glad to correct myself and do it, because if I'm a teacher, I need to do it. So, is recommendation double M, team? I'm not sure. Yep, recommendation was double M. So that's a recommendation. That becomes a recommendation that, you know what, you can change it to this. But it's not really a fail. Then it can be changed to suggestion. But it's still something that someone has to look at. Now, if for just a login, sign up, we have about 15-20 test cases. How many do you think an application like QA on Air will have? I'll switch the application team. I had something handy and ready to save time. Instead of writing the test cases, I put everything there. So how many test cases overall do you think, team? And then comes the topic of regression testing. How many test cases do you think are needed for such an application? 200, 300, 500, 100, 800, 1000? Hard to say. Yeah, okay, Hitesh. If I do, I think it'll be like, maybe if you have to ask me, I think between 1000 to 2000 at least. The app I already said, na, Jaya? Depends on the app. Yes, depends on time available. No, I'm not talking about time availability in terms of resource of writing. So there are two things, team. Always remember. A manual test case, there is a writing of them or what we can also call as creation, and executing them. Are we all clear with what is writing a test case and executing it, team? Anyone has a question on that? The writing is basically where we write, like I said here. Executing is looking at them and following the steps to do it on the application. So let us say for QA on air, I'm saying there are 2000 test cases to write, and each test case takes about 10 minutes to write. So how many minutes totally, team? 20,000 minutes. 20,200. Sorry, 2000 by 6 is about 180 hours, 185 hours, something like that, correct? And to execute, how much time will it take, team? Let's keep it as is. 2000 test cases, 10 minutes it took to write. How much time will it take to execute? I'm luckily not writing anything. I just have to do executing. So the same 2000 test cases we need to execute, and maybe it will take us 4 minutes. Does it sound reasonable to execute? Half the time, yeah? About little, let's say we are good software testers. We can see on one screen, execute on one screen, or we have a paper, we do it, tuck, tuck, tuck. Everything is good. 2 minutes. So let's say that's good. That's great, right? Now, what does a tool like Selenium do? To write the same test cases which took 10 minutes each, to write an individual script with Selenium WebDriver, how long will it take, team? 2K has still to be done. I don't think 2K will be done. It will be more like 1.5K, because not everything can be automated. Always remember that. So there's a writing and execution. They're two different things, writing or creation and then execution. How much time will it take? 10 minutes for a manual test case. To write a manual test case is taking 10 minutes. To write an automation script, how long will it take? To write I'm not talking about Selenium IDE, team. Record and run, not talking that. More WebDriver related. $20 to $30 minutes looks reasonable. Let's put 20. Now to execute the same, how long will it take, team? If it takes 4 minutes there, it will take 0.5 minutes or 30 seconds. That's it. All done. That is the power of automation, team. Now, what AnyAUT does is it combines both these things together, and it says it will take you about maybe 9.9 minutes to write or create, and it will take you the same. Let's talk at 1.5 only, not even this. I like the Surface Pro because of what it can do. 9.9 here, and to execute the same 1500 test cases, it's gonna take the same maybe 0.6. That's what AnyAUT is all about, team. That's what it will do. So we need to master what this does and how this does that. You can jump directly. You don't need to go like this. You don't need to. And that is what we're trying to do with the entire thing. So now the version that we have is called anyaught.com/orange. What is it that we need to do, team, here? First, there is a join us or login. I'm teaching you how to become an AnyAUT certified tester. Let's see. Okay, so desktop app, how to write test cases, AACT training. How will the training help you? So a few questions, a few things here I'll answer, team. You'll be a manual testing queen/king. All right. And you know how to use a test management tool. And I don't think we've kind of completed all the topics that we wanted to do, but we'll continue to do that thing. How to use a test management tool. You are certified to implement AnyAUT or an equivalent tool for the end client. That's what this training will help you, team. That's what we started. Now we'll go deeper. Once we get into AnyAUT, sign up, and then once we sign in, you'll understand. You're not here to test this application, team. To test this application, there's a different project. To work on this application, also there's a different project to develop this application. To be a user of this application is what we're doing, is what this training is all about. So whatever I mentioned should really fit into this goal, and this is where we have to really get going. Now, how will the certification help? I'll ask a simple question, team. If you go into the market and say I'm an AACT or AACD, does it have a value right now, as of today? Does it have a value, team? Yes or no? And be honest with your answers. Tell me, yes or no, team. No, it does not. It's not popular. It's not like ISTQB or HP certified and so on. It is not. It does not have a value. But then it's there in your resume, right? And because of the project that you work, because of AnyAUT, you'll put some experience there. That here the clients or work projects that we've done. And in the interview, they'll ask you what is AnyAUT. And once they ask you, you have a great point to talk. You will be able to display your skill at that time. And that's a big value add. That's a huge value add. It's not that it is recognized. It's not because someone is searching for AnyAUT certified testers or developers on Dice or Monster or Career Builder or LinkedIn and so on. But then when you go and talk that, you know what, I've been part of this project, I've been working, I've implemented this tool. This is what the tool does. They know automatically that you're a manual testing queen or king, you know how to use a test management tool, and you're certified to implement such a tool at their client place. That is what it is all about as of today. All right. How to be part of Verkasa Vision? Peach is the next version. So that is a much larger one that I'll be starting with from tomorrow morning. I think 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Let's have a daily meeting. And who is missing can catch up over the video recorded. And but then I'll be very selective team in this case, because it's product development. It's very critical that we do it correctly, and I'll ensure that you all will we figure out the right way. It is not Karthik who's important. It's not a Kiran or a Parmesh or a Ahmed or a Savita. No, none of us are. It's the project that's most important in this case. That's where the priority goes. So we need to ensure that we are all working and rightly oriented to building such a product that the market needs. And to do that, I'll need to really act. I'm going to have to act as a technical project manager as of now. Hopefully, I'll find someone good in this team that will turn out to be that. And you will eventually be part of the bigger vision where we're trying to get projects and put you there. In your orange demo, I don't think we have enough time today, team. But what I will recommend is, which was the latest email? Let me pause my screen for a minute and show you the update. All right. So here's the latest update that we have. So this is the link. So we have a dev version for Orange where a lot of fixes have been done. But while you and I, we are learning to understand and use AnyAUT Orange version as a test management tool, we will be easily able to figure this entire product and see how it fits into the functional testing and regression testing. I wanted to also talk about regression testing. So let me put it as a point, and maybe we'll address this next time. All right, team, Q&A. Questions, answers, feel free to raise your hand if you want to be unmuted, so I can unmute you and take your questions as well. There are a few hands raised. I'm going to put all the hands down for now and take fresh questions. On what basis you will be selecting the persons to work on Peach project? Okay, so just look at the orientation session that I did on Friday. It's there on YouTube, and I've answered that question there. There are multiple roles or responsibilities that people can play. It can be a manual tester, it can be a Selenium engineer, it can be a Selenium Java developer. So we can fit that. Are there similar tools like AnyAUT? How is it different from other tools in the market? So I did a comparison, Maria, with a lot of other products. As of now, exactly like AnyAUT, there's no tool which does what we are saying it does. It's not hard for any other company to develop such a tool. It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. But the simplicity is what it is all about for us as well. Robot framework is a closer version of AnyAUT, but it still needs technical implementation. You need to install Python and this and that, and it's not easy to get started. So that's another one. Can you please share the doc? What I'll do is, with the video that I'll put in YouTube, I'll also put this documentation there. What would be duration of Peach project? Okay, great question. Okay, so Peach project, the first release will come in about 2 to 3 months, and then it will be an ongoing project for at least 2 to 3 years. Jairam. Team, questions, anyone? I see Anas. I see a couple of hands raised, so I'm going to unmute. Anushka, you have a question that you want to ask? I think I can hear you. You want to try and speak? Anas, say hello. All right. I'm going to go back and mute you. Murshid. Agram, Santosh, I'm not able to unmute you. Murshid, I did unmute you, but maybe you muted at your end or I can't hear you. Guys, speak up. I would love to hear people. Raise your hand, I'll unmute you. So do we meet tomorrow at 8:30 Pacific time? Yes, we will. I will have Ashna. I'm not sure if you're still there and if you're listening in, but if you're there, then let's send a go-to meeting invite, please, to the participants who have signed up in the Peach version, and they can sign up there, and they can all join for 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. is fine, right, Ashna?
Yes, Karthik. For now, it's fine. 8:30 a.m.
Okay, and I'm going to delete this emails and phone numbers so that the privacy of our participants is not affected. Institute. When the next batch will be start for QA Live Selenium training and live project, I think it just started. The next batch maybe another 2 months, but what you're talking about, Prita, is just started. On the YouTube, I see prerequisites. Does that mean I should already know those language and technology? I'm sorry, I did not attend the orientation. So, please kindly go back and watch the orientation session, all of you. It's there on itelearn.com/webinars. And that is the place that we can see everything that we do in the free sessions and so on. Let's see. How long is the test and is it multiple choice? The test is going to be about 30 minutes after we finish the training. There are two parts to the test. One part is for you to implement on a project. Second is the actual test where we are trying to look at how you do, how well you know software testing, test management concepts, and AnyAUT, which is not totally different. How can I join? I think, yeah, just try to learn at itlearn.com. I'm listening and learning you teach. Okay, how can I access the tool? Access the tool, just go to anyauth.com/orange, please. anyauth.com/orange. How to sign up for the Peach project. Peach project, what's the orientation session video? You'll get to know. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll continue with exploring the AnyAUT Orange and what functionality it has on what we kind of covered today, some of the basic concepts and how it will help us. Thank you, everyone. Take care now. Bye. Have a good night, good day. Take care all. Thank you all. Bye.